Bell Cranel and the group is back with Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Season 4. And what a initial kind of reintroduction to everybody this episode really was. So what this episode really did is I thought this came out as a perfect episode 1 of a brand new season. And not every episode 1 of a new season is created equal. Some get it right and some get it wrong. And I think what this episode did specifically is I think JC staff really nailed it with, they picked up where we left off on last season, where Bell was dealing with, all the Zeno stuff. He was dealing with the Black Minotaur. He was dealing with his own internal struggles. And then it kind of accompanies that with what's happening next, which is Bell gathering the group and the friends to go and take on the dungeon and go to the lower levels that have never been explored before, as they try and find out the truth, and they try, the truth of the dungeon. They try and find out different ways to be able to save the Xenos people holistically, right? So I think it basically marries these two things as picking up where we left off, introducing what is going to happen next, kind of like what's the next arc, the next thing that we're going to be taking on, and then also reintroducing us to the characters. So, at this point, we had a lot of Bell this episode. We had Bell with spending time with Aina, the elf girl who is his person at the guild, who kind of gives him quest and different things that she's basically been watching over Bell for the past, year, 6 months, whatever it is. We got reintroduced to Hestia and her, her talking and shouting out her undying love for Bell. We got reintroduced to Arde, and Arde was kind of figuring out where she's going to fit in on all of this. We got reintroduced to Haruhime and kind of where her shortcomings are. We got reintroduced to Aisha. I freaking love Aisha. Aisha is one of my favorite characters. She is I love how she is just badass, aggressive, sexy, all of it. But we got reintroduced to her because she is also going to go on the mission, and then she is helping Haruhime increase her magical potential. We got introduced to one of my favorite characters outside of Aisha, which is Cassandra. I think her name's Cassandra. She is the very timid one. Basically, when Bell and Hestia and them took over the mansion, they kicked everybody out, and Cassandra was the one who really wanted her pillow, and Bell helped her get her pillow, because she's talking about dreams and stuff, and Bell believed her, and she's the one who basically has visions of what's going to happen in the future. I really love Cassandra a lot. She's joining the party, as well as the other girl. I don't remember what her name is. We got reintroduced to Makoto. Love Makoto. We got to see her training and kind of breaking the ceiling and barriers of her limits. We got reintroduced to Wolf or Welf, whatever you want. I think his name's Welf, but Wolf Krozo, and all the different inner workings that he has now. He has a lot more, a lot of people trust him and his blacksmithing ability now. So we got reintroduced to kind of that. And we got him associating himself with Oka, I think the dude's name is, big dude, who was in the same house as Makoto in the past. But he went and requested Welf to go and create him a brand new weapon. I love the interaction that they had. I wrote it down here too that Welf was like, "Yo, my stuff doesn't come cheap," and he was like, "Give me a discount." He's like, "Hell no!" So I love all of that. And then obviously we finally get to see them set out on their first adventure. And this is what happened towards the tail end of the episode. We get to go see them, go out on the adventure. We get to see them working with each other. We get to see Arde's new role, which is kind of like commander and kind of telling everybody, watch out. Basically, she's watching from behind and being like a adventuring coach, essentially. But we got to see them go out there and begin to take on a different level, level 4, I think they call it. And then we got to see, at the end of the episode, we got to see Bell launching his new version of his firebolt, and oh my god, it's not even a firebolt. It's it might as well be a Kamehameha. That dude's just it's so cool. And then the actual episode ended with the holistic baddie, which I'm 90% sure that that's just the Black Minotaur getting better and training himself to take on Bell once again. But we get to see him totally do that as well. So, some of the things I love about the episode started off really well with Bell. We get to see his Argonaut ability. Straight up, very honest with you guys. I'm not a big fan of this whole Xenos or like season 3. I think it was all about I love the Minotaur fight. I think that was one of the coolest fights ever. I don't like the Xeno stuff. I was very uninterested in it. I think it was a big letdown for me to where like I even paused season 3 and I was like, I'll come back, and I ended up finishing it. I think when it finished getting dubbed, I think it was, I finally went back and I finished it. But I totally kind of fell off because like I didn't like the Xeno stuff at all. But I totally like that. I love how everybody's getting together. I love how all the different houses are getting together. Or the different familias are getting together. I love seeing more Aina, however you say her name. I totally love her. I'm very surprised that she didn't come with Bell on this adventure. I would be surprised or remiss if she's not following them in some way, shape, or form. But regardless, I love seeing that. And the last thing I'll really talk about is just kind of like the season coming back. And I love, so far, the music. I love the vibe that it has. And I love how the animation has gotten better. I think if you go back and look at season 1 and then season 2 and season 3 and then now season 4, I love how each season kind of like over and over. I love how they have just continually gotten better. And they have introduced more people to the teams, and they have just made it a much more gorgeous experience to look at. I think if you look at the animation, I just think that they have gotten better season after season. And I think this season is looking really good. And I think it's doing something very similar to like how Overlord came back this year. And if you pay attention to the animation, the characters have like a certain sheen or shine to them. It's very subtle, but it's totally there. I really love how they have gotten better and better, which just probably tells me that they have more budget. They have maybe more ability to grab artists and designers and production artists and stuff. So I really like how they've gotten better season after season. But one thing that my hope for this season is, I definitely want to see more adventures and stuff, but I definitely would love to see Bell maybe start defining who is his lead girl. I feel like one of the things that Is It Wrong has always kind of had is this romantic subtext, whether that was with Hestia, whether that's with Arde, whether that is with Haruhime. We know Haruhime's basically promised to Bell, whether that is with Makoto or Aisha's made it known that she just wants to eat him up. Whether that is with Aina, because Aina basically said this episode that she totally fell for him. I would love to see Bell kind of begin defining on, who's number one in his heart. I would love to kind of see that, or maybe number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. But I would just like to see some of that more begin to come together. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Will we be covering this anime the whole entire season? I don't know. It's going to be determined by the viewers. So if this blows up and does really well, we'll be covering all season. If it doesn't, then hey, we watched episode 1, maybe 2 or 3, and we're here. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.